So you're a manager who wants to get promoted into an executive role. Fantastic. Well, I've worked with hundreds of executives, and let me tell you, companies will promote you if you have these 5 C's. And the first one is you must be clear. When you're communicating with your team, if you confuse them, you will lose them. It's imperative that your points, your information can be clearly presented. And I recommend using an analogy or a metaphor. I was working with an executive at one of the big 4 accounting firms, and he had to deliver a pitch to a client about how they had to move premises. But he was making it really complex. He was saying things like, synergies will align and opportunities will come into play if we can make this acquisition. What does that even mean? So we came up with the analogy, the metaphor of moving house. We got him to say, it's time for you to move house. Your house has been brilliant, but now that your family of employees is expanding, now that your output is improving, you deserve to move into a bigger property that will serve you and your customers' needs. So by using that analogy, it made it clearer in the customer's mind what they needed to do, instead of using silly words like synergies and opportunities and all that vague stuff. So be clear through using analogies. The second C is you must be concise. I think we've all seen it. That person who goes on and on and on and on and on, and they haven't still not got to their point, right? We need to be concise when we speak. Time is money as an executive. You have got to get to your point fast. So I suggest making yourself adhere to the 30-second rule. What is that? This is when you only give yourself 30 seconds to answer a question or to make a point. Now, in your mind, can you accurately count 30 seconds? Probably not. But by having that in your mind, your answer will definitely be shorter than it was before. So demand that of yourself. Only give yourself 30 seconds to answer a question or 30 seconds to make a key point. You'll be amazed about how many words you throw away and how quickly you can get to the actual crucial information that you need to convey. The third C that we need to talk about is being composed. Part of being an executive is dealing with pressure. Sometimes people are going to not be happy with you. They're going to be frustrated about what's happening in the company, and they might ask you difficult questions. In that moment, it is imperative that you don't panic, that you stay composed. Now, how do we do that? Well, one thing we can do is we can learn from the show Blue Lights. What's this show? It's about police officers in Belfast, Ireland. And one of the main characters, a wise old officer, gives the new recruits a valuable piece of advice. He says, whenever you're about to make an arrest, whenever you're encountering a potentially violent person, whenever you're in a high-pressure situation, take a beat. Now, what does that mean? It means taking a pause, thinking through your options, and then responding in the correct way. Now, the wise officer in the show probably should have listened to his own advice, because he rushed into a drug lord's den and got shot. But nonetheless, this advice is helpful for us as executives, because when you're asked that difficult question, what you can do is pause and think about it. Or you can take a drink, and that gives you some time to think. Take a beat before you respond. This will allow you to be more composed, and you'll be able to answer in a way that you are proud of. The fourth C that we've got to talk about is, of course, being captivating. As an executive, as a leader, you've got to motivate and inspire your team or your fellow executives around the boardroom. So how do you do that? Well, you don't do it by being really monotone and dull like this. No, you've got to have a bit more of a spark to you. You've got to have an enthusiasm to you. Now, what do I recommend you do to get that across? Well, one thing is to simply increase your volume to slightly higher than you would usually speak. So if you think of a scale, 1 being here, being like a whisper, and 10 being over here, shouting, most people speak about a 3. And they take that level of 3, and they bring that into presentations. And that's not good enough. If we want to hold the attention of 10 people around the room, we actually need to bump our volume up to a 6. This is how you have presence. It's not shouting. It's not being too much. It's simply just speaking loud enough so that you hold everyone's attention. Furthermore, I want you to focus on speeding up when you're talking about less important information and slowing down when you come to critical information. Because what that's going to do is it's going to give you more variety in your tone. You'll speed up when you're just going through information, and then you'll come and slow down when you get to that key point. This is going to make the key points stand out and make you more captivating when you speak. Fifth and final C is you must be conclusive. Now, what does that mean? It means that at the end of the meeting, at the end of the presentation, you must be conclusive in terms of what everybody is doing next. There is no point of a meeting, of a presentation, if no one does anything differently after. You need to be, again, clear with your team, with your colleagues, what our next steps are. Now, that could be assigning people tasks. It could be saying, Jerry, you're going to lead social media this afternoon. Or, Margaret, I want you to call our past best clients. You know, it's giving people specific tasks. Or it could be saying collectively, as a team, we need to do this going forward. We need to change our thinking in this way, or we need to do this on a daily basis to make the company more successful. If it's not conclusive in terms of what people need to do next, they end up doing nothing. And therefore, there's no progress. And then whoever your boss is going to be unhappy with you. So make sure at the end of your presentations, you always have a conclusive call to action so people know what the path is going to be going forward. So there you have it. 5 C's to consider. You've got being clear, concise, composed, captivating, and conclusive. And if you are a manager or even an executive and you want to get better at public speaking, presenting, if you want to get better at those 5 C's, one thing that might interest you is my one-to-one coaching. This is where you and I would hop on a Teams or Zoom call, and I can give you feedback on your delivery style, so your voice, your body language, on your structure, on your storytelling, on your PowerPoints, on everything. So that ultimately when you go up and speak, you have the impact that you want. If you're interested in that, email me at kyle@confidencebydesign.co.uk. But above all, I wish you the very best in your next presentation.